Did you know that we are still in the Christmas season? Yep. The church calendar celebrates Christmas from Christmas Day and 12 days after, and it ends on Epiphany, which is January 6th, tomorrow. So it's still Christmas. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And do you celebrate Epiphany? I have just come to celebrate this holiday for the past few years, and I love it. And so today I want to share with you how it sets my year up for success with vision and light for the new year. And maybe you want to implement these things. Maybe you already celebrate and you want to see what I do and how I do it. Perhaps you want to join in. Whatever it is, I think this episode will really encourage you with your goals for the new year, with the way that you're just casting vision for your new year, and how you get started with 2024. Okay, let's go. One word people have used to describe me most of my life is emotional. That isn't a stretch because, yes, I am a female. But when I was described as being so emotional, so moody, especially as a teenager and in young adulthood when puberty hormones were just strong, and I just accepted it as me, that I was just going to be extra emotional. And let's not mention how I was practically giving myself whiplash once a month because of these said emotions. This continued for years, and not where I'm impossible to live with, but just I used it as a crutch month after month. Oh, I'm getting my period. Or, oh, that's why that happened. Sorry, it's my period. Sorry, it's that week. But something changed all of that this year, and I can finally say I am over those PMS symptoms. I started taking intuitive nutrition that is hormone and soy isoflavone free to find balance and empower my hormones naturally. It's patent pending, unlike anything else, and instead of interfering with natural hormone balance, the menstrual and menopausal formulas deliver key nutrients and potent botanicals to support the female body in every phase and every cycle. Hormones are chemical messengers telling your body vital information. If you have heavy periods, cramping, mood swings, low libido, bloating, hot flashes, night sweats, brain fog, acne, and more, your messengers might need additional support so you can feel your best. Andrea says, because I'm feeling my best, I'm also momming my best now. Michelle says, now all my days are good days. I don't need to blame my hormones anymore. It's just me. Take the fun quiz in the show notes to see if your hormones are telling you that they really need to be balanced. Also, you can find a ton more information at the link in the show notes. Hey mama, are you stressed by the lack of time in the day to do all the things? Are you feeling disconnected from God, your husband, and even your kids because patience and presence seem out of reach? Do you want a healthier body, mind, spirit, and home, but overwhelmed in where to start? Hey, I'm Shan Wright, daughter of the king, wife, mom to 4, RN, wellness coach, and I know very well what it feels like to want to live well, but about to lose it with my very blessed, full life. After realizing I can't pour from an empty cup, I tracked my way to whole body wellness and so much peace. If you are ready to cancel the stressed out life, learn tactical, intentional strategies as a mom wearing many hats, find more peace, confidence, and joy raising kingdom kids, then listen in. Come on, mama, together we got this. Really, God's got this. So go heat up that coffee again and turn your listening ears on. Let's chat. So there are many ways to tell time, and the church has a calendar that they use to tell time. And this is the Big C Church, and it breaks the year into seasons. And it all starts with Advent, actually, and then Christmas, which lasts 12 days, like I said, and it ends on Epiphany, January 6th. And then the year goes on from there. But the word Epiphany this holiday of Epiphany was a new concept for me a few years ago, and I have just really enjoyed it since learning about it. But the word Epiphany comes from the Greek noun epiphania, which means shining forth. On Christmas Day, as we celebrate, An epiphany is recognizing the light he brought into a dark world. And we reflect on the ways that his light is in you and how you can spread that light in the world. If this little light of mine is shining bright, right? The star, in the Christmas story, the star was the guide. That was the light. And it was apparently an extremely bright star, and it guided the 3 wise men to find Jesus. And to this day, he is still our guiding light. But the question remains, are we following? So the star was in the sky, the wise men saw it, and they followed the star. But not everyone did, right? And so are we following the star? Are we letting Jesus be our guide? Are we using his light to be our guide? Or are we creating our own light? Are we following other lights? There are a lot of shiny things in this world. They actually say Satan is the angel of light. And he makes everything very deceptive with making it look sparkly and shiny. And he is a deceiver. And so are we following those lights? Are we following lights of people that are walking in the world's ways? Or are we actually following Jesus and letting him be our guide? So those are the questions I really want you to think about. And those are great questions to sit with in your journal as you get started on this new year. Gosh, I love January so much. And this week has been very slow as we are just cleaning, organizing, purging. If you listen to my unstuffed episode, I am fully taking all those things into practice, and I hope you are too. And if you haven't listened, there is still time. There is still time to get unstuffed. I'm only about a third of the way through the process, so jump in with me here. That is episode, 25 maybe? Let me look up what episode that is for you. I was right. Episode 25, Overwhelmed by Stuff. And yes, I get very overwhelmed by stuff. And you may be very similar to me. I think at least a few of you are. And I get overwhelmed by stuff in my brain. I get overwhelmed by stuff in my home. I get overwhelmed by my body. And when I get that way, you have to take very, very intentional action to get rid of it. And it has to, for me, I knew unstuffing my home and coming home from our Christmas trip and coming into a home, I knew I was going to be overwhelmed if I didn't take action right away and had a plan. And then once I had that plan, I needed to implement it, and I had to have a timeline on it. And so other years in the past, I've learned this lesson. I have said, okay, 2 days, right? I'm going to get this all done in 2 days. That is unrealistic. It has taken me way longer. And so I've realized that, and it, made me overwhelmed. So this year, I'm fully aware that it's going to take me at least a week, and I'm okay with that because I'm making progress and I have a whole plan in place. I have the list. The kids know the list. We're all doing it together. So anyways, not to harp on that episode anymore in this episode, but this is where I am this week. And Epiphany is really the unstuffing of my brain part of it. So being that we just lived a year, we really have to do some major mental wellness work on ourselves mentally for this new year and for the year coming. It's just a really great time to do that. And if we don't set a time to do it, we just won't. So what better time than January? I mean, everything's starting fresh. January is a very slow month typically because it's cold out and people are inside a lot. And so you have different schedules and lifestyles. And if you're not in a cold place, I wish I was where you were. And you can get outside and move your body and mentally process, which is even better. But anyway, yes, this is what I'm doing. An epiphany is that day that I really do the work of unstuffing my brain. So you can join me in this. You can also go back to the episode 25, listen to it, and then take those practices for the mind work and do those on Epiphany, which is tomorrow. Or you can, say you skip this on this day, you don't listen to it in real time. That's okay. You can still make your own day to be like, okay, this Saturday is my Epiphany, whatever day. Just, the work is what matters. The action is what matters, is not necessarily when. So if you listen to this in real time, I'm super excited you are, because you can practice Epiphany with me tomorrow, and that would be absolutely amazing. So I first celebrated and recognized this day just 2 years ago in 2022, and it was through one of my favorite podcasts, which is That Sounds Fun with Annie F. Downs, and she mentioned it. She is a big proponent of Advent, and then she had gotten into the entire church calendar and offered it to her audience and said, do you want to celebrate Epiphany with me? We are going to fast, and you can choose your kind of fast, whether you're going to do all day or one meal or 2 meals. And I'm not exactly sure what I did. I think I did breakfast and lunch because it was my very first time actually food fasting. I had always been pregnant, and I had been pregnant a lot and breastfeeding a lot, and fasting was never a spiritual practice that I really got into because of the season of motherhood. But when she mentioned it, I was like, well, kind of felt that conviction. Like, I think this is my time to fast. It's not like a strong desire to fast. It's a hard thing to do. And so I think that was my first time, and I think I did breakfast and lunch. And we had a podcast episode together that she did, where it was just praying and casting vision for the year. And it was amazing, and I loved it, journaled a lot through it. And I have in my journal from that day this quote. Now, I'm not sure if this is from her or someone else, but it says, what you do with the clarity matters most. So if you think about it, a light brings clarity. A light is clear, and it brings brightness and light and clarity. And that epiphany that you get on that day, and as you sit with Jesus and he casts vision and that light for your year, you have to take action on it. What you do with that clarity matters most. So we celebrate Epiphany and we pray for the guiding light to make the path clear, and then we do something about it. So this whole emphasis on all of this is through prayer, right? Like, we're listening to God's voice for our word of the year, for the goals, for the intentions, for the vision that God wants to give us, right? We're not going to God in prayer and saying, okay, God, here's my plans for the year. Remember, man sets his plans, but the Lord directs his paths. He is going to direct you if you just follow the light. And when we plan, we don't know if that's going to be successful. We have no idea of the future, but God knows the future. He knows what's to come. So why not let him do the vision work, right? If he knows what's going to come in the future, he knows what he has planned for you. He has amazing, amazing things planned for you. Then why not give it to him and say, here is my journal, my calendar, my vision planning sheet. Have your way with it, God, and listen to what he wants to tell you. Remember, his sheep hear his voice. So if we just sit there and listen, he will remind us. I wasn't going to say this, but this happened this morning as we were casting vision as a team with my affiliate business and wellness business. We were casting vision on a team call and in prayer, and God reminded me of the vision he gave me for my business. And it wasn't a new vision. It was he was reminding me to be patient. So I was going to bring this verse up later, but I'll bring it up now and maybe again later. But Habakkuk 2:2-3 is actually my verse for the year. And in it says, for the vision is yet for the appointed time. It hurries towards the goal of fulfillment. It will not fail, even though it delays. Wait patiently for it, because it will certainly come. It will not delay. And so we don't know God's timeline. So if he gives you the vision and we're saying this is the vision for 2024, it might not be within 2024. But so he gave me this vision for my business last year. It did not come to fruition in 2023. But he reminded me this morning to be patient and hold on to that vision. So I was really, really encouraged by that. And maybe that will encourage you too. Okay, so we're going to celebrate Epiphany in a few different ways. So first, we're going to celebrate as a family, and I'm also celebrating it personally, right? In my personal relationship with God. So as a family, what will we do? So we will have a family dinner on January 6th, tomorrow. We will have a family dinner, and we will go over blessing our year together as a family, our home, and each family member. We actually will choose a word of the year as a family, and that goes with the family vision and mission that God's given us. So as a family as a whole, God has given us a mission and core values that we hold to, and the vision and the word of the year, will fall into that. So last year, for instance, we chose peace. And honestly, I did 2022 Epiphany by myself. And last year was the first year we did it as a family. And I loved it. And so we're going to do it again. And even though the kids are older, so it should go a little bit even better, right? So last year we chose peace. And it's so funny and this came from, if you remember in my Advent episode, I talked about how my kids' Lutheran preschool that they go to, they give an Advent box because the Lutheran church really celebrates the church calendar. And so they do Advent and Epiphany, and they gave us a box for a family to take home, and it had all the Advent activities in it. It was amazing. And then it culminates with Epiphany, and they gave us an activity to do with Epiphany. So last year it was a gold star that you write your word of the year on, and you wrote a few other things on it. It was like an equation that I'm trying to remember, but you write it on the gold star, and then it's just a little paper thing. And I tucked it on our front door underneath our metal, like our wreath hanger. Like our wreath is on the outside the door, and then inside has that little hook. So I just tucked it in there. Well, throughout the year, it fell many times, which is funny because it was just such a great reminder. Every time it fell, I was like, oh yeah, our star. Because I could see it up there, but it was kind of small. And it was like every time it fell, it reminded me of our word of the year of peace. And we might just need to keep that word for this year. Who knows? Because as a family, it really addresses some ways that we struggle. We struggle to have peace in certain areas, and as the children grow and they have certain struggles, peace is what helps them, and to go after peace and to follow the light of peace. And so I don't know if we'll keep that word this year or not, but we definitely need some work there still. So yeah, we'll go over 2023 as a family and reflect, have each person share maybe a favorite memory, something they learned, something God taught them. We will talk about, the big things that happened as a family. We will talk about our family mission and ways we can follow the light this year and follow that mission that God's given us. And then we'll decide on a word, and Brian and I will also share with the kids some goals and intentions that we already have that involve them. Like example, we do dates with our kids, and they're going to be switched up a little bit this year. We're going to do them a little bit differently. And so we need to let them know, right? So there's things like that. So super excited about it. You can take whatever you want from that and implement it with your family. You don't need an activity or anything. You can just do those things that I shared. Okay, so then personally, what will I do? I will fast for the day and pray over my goals and intentions for the year. Again, reflect on the past year. I'll kind of do the same thing. Reflect on the past year, reflect on what God taught me, what I learned, what I need to let go of, what I need to open my arms to, my heart to, what has God revealed to me? Because what he reveals, he wants to heal. And I did a lot of healing in 2023, And I know there's more. Wherever there's healing, there's more healing, because we will not be fully sanctified until glory. And so we're on this sanctification journey, and where he starts to heal, you just are opened up. Your heart is softened to new areas where you need healing, and to ask him, what is that? And see if he reveals anything more of where he's leading me to heal. He already did actually reveal one, which is awesome. And I'm super excited to be healed from that. So it's like pointing out where the hole is, and then he's going to close up that hole in my heart. So I am so excited. It's hard work. It's deep work, but I'm excited for it. So, yeah. And then where he's leading me really coincides with my word of the year. And we'll get there on what that word is. And he'll give me a word for the year, which he already did. And then, where that light, that word and light leads me this year. Okay, so words of the year. Do you do them? I have been doing them, I believe, since 2019. That's as far back in my journals as I could find. I went digging yesterday and tried to find all that, but I don't know if I did it before that. I know I always did goals. I'm not sure if I did a word, but these words always come from God, and sometimes they're in retrospect. They're like, oh wow, that was definitely my word of the year. That's like the string that ties everything together, whether I noticed it or not. So I might have not done it in 2018, but I bet you I could look back at what happened in 2018 and find the word, right? So, the light, if we're looking at the light and we're letting it guide us, it makes things more clear. So you can see in hindsight, oh yeah, wow, God really did a lot of that this year. So in 2019, my word of the year was prayer, and it really was God showing me how I needed to deepen my prayer relationship with him. I read a lot of books on prayer at the time, and so I needed to fully trust God with my pregnancy. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety in pregnancy, and then I didn't know 2020 was coming, but God sure did. And so he knew, like, getting close to him was what I needed. Closer, closer, closer. So that's what I did. 2019. 2020 came. I don't have it marked in my journal. I don't think I was journaling a ton at the time, but I'm pretty sure my word of the year was growth, and which makes sense. I grew a baby. I grew in peace. I grew in blessings, and I grew a business. So August to December was completely packed full with growth, as far as mental growth, emotional growth, social growth, physical growth, and all of it. Like, I actually got to the fittest my body has ever been. I grew in so many relationships and business and all of it. Financially, it was amazing. It was growth. So that was cool to see. And then 2021 was confidence. So I got confident in my body at the end of 2020, and I got confident in business. And I started a business, which I'd never done before. But once I was in, I got fully pointed out by my mentor that I was not confident in myself. And you can actually go back to episode 6 where I share that entire story in detail, because that was a lot of deep work. Again, that was a big thing that I needed to focus on in 2021, was being confident, self-confidence, which is actually God confidence, because he has blessed you with so many gifts and talents and abilities, and he wants to use you, and he has so much planned for you. So it all comes back to him, but you have to believe in yourself, believe that he's going to use you. Okay, and then 2022 was bold and courageous, and this can also be found in episode 7, as God revealed not only the word of the year, but my kingdom identity. And that, again, was when I started Epiphany in 2022. He gave me that word of the year as I was having my Epiphany quiet time. He also revealed that was my daughter's word of the year, was courageous. And together with my 2 daughters, we went on this amazing journey of being bold and courageous and brave, and it was awesome. So that was really cool. And then it went into everything, right? I can see courageous was all throughout the year. And then 2023, he gave me peace actually on 11/22/22, and then abundance on Epiphany as my word of the year with peace. So peace and abundance. And that was so fitting, as he also, remember, told me to obey him in these areas, and it would lead to peace and abundance. And it would be mainly focused on financial wellness, which I completely worked through. This was very deep spiritual work and healing. I got healed, and I have many lessons that I learned and I have to share with you, and a podcast where it's cool because now I'm on a podcast where I share about peace, and it came from this year of deep work on myself and healing. So obviously many more episodes to come on all of that. But now for this year's word of the year, I got it a few weeks ago, which was pretty cool. And my word of the year for 2024 is vision. It is vision. And it's a vision for my purpose. It's vision for my mission personally as a person. It's vision for my family, marriage, and as a mother. And it's vision for my business. And so the vision I have in my head is a concept that is so nice to say, but what is the heart behind what I want to do? Behind this vision, behind this concept. So the saying is God first, family second, then business, right? And I've said that, and I have tried to live by that. But what is the heart behind those actions? What is the mission behind those tasks? And what is the task behind that mission? So it's so different from resolutions. When you have a guiding light and a word of the year, you know where you're going, and then you can break it down into goals and intentions and these baby steps of courage. And this, of course, comes through prayer too. So on Epiphany and other days within these 12 days of Christmas, I've been doing this, and how the goals go back to that word of the year. They all point back to it. So remember in episode 26, I had shared my goals for 2023 were to obey, right? He said to obey the things he had been telling me, to do that for peace and abundance. And so I had to take some very clear action to live out my word of the year. So here are the steps that I have to take for vision this year. And well, what are they? I mean, this is what I'm going to be praying about. I have a few of them, but for example, how do I implement vision in my business? Systems, a tracker, intentional action that is tracked and shows the journey. So the heart is God first, family, then business. But because the tasks for business are so clearly written down, they get checked off, they get done, it appears. They're on a calendar, they're on a to-do list. They have to be, right? Because people are relying on you. It's so easy. It's easy to write down, I have to record a podcast episode. So because of all that, it appears that they're coming first. When if we had clear intentional action for our relationship with God and family, then this vision would actually become a reality. So if I have very clear intention that I'm tracking for my vision with God and my personal relationship, and then vision with my family and my marriage and my motherhood, and I have those written down and these goals and intentions that go back to the vision, then it can actually happen. So really, God was really helping me with my business by giving me this word of the year, because this is a whole topic of conversation for holistic moms. To be intentional with the action, you need a vision first. And you can't be intentional without an action. And then it can't even stop there. You need to do the work to get the intentional actions and write them down and track them. And so again, back to Habakkuk 2:2-3. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it plainly on clay tablets, so that the one who reads it will run. For the vision is yet for the appointed future time. It hurries towards the goal of fulfillment. It will not fail. Even though it delays, wait patiently for it, because it will certainly come. It will not delay. Okay, friend, I said a lot. I could probably say a lot more. I love talking about this, but to end all of this, will you join me for Epiphany? What is your word of the year? What are your goals? I would love to hear the answers to all of those questions. You can come share them with me over in the Facebook group, the new Facebook Uplift group. It is called Holistic Health Hacks for Christian Moms over on Facebook. It is found at bit.ly/holistic hacks. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. Holistic Hacks. And you can find me there. Also, the link is in the show notes. And this is accountability. Whether you take this as a model, like this, what I did as a model, and you do your own, or you want me to be a mentor in this and hold you accountable to this, this is the secret sauce. It's just sharing it with you, and then you take it and you do something with it. That accountability is what will make this work for you too. So come share it with me, and we can hold each other accountable. And then what is also super cool is we're going to talk so much more about vision with my special interview that I have coming up next week for you. So look forward to that. And until we chat again, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace. Bye, friend. Hey, Wellness Warrior. I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TheShanWright so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.